And as the rising factionalism and internal disputes within the Nigerian political party continues to rise, Nigerians are wondering how these developments can actually impact on these parties, and of course particularly given the forthcoming 2027 elections. So Dr. Chukwuemeka Aroh is in the studio. He is a public affairs analyst. He joins us to give us perspective to these disputes, inter-party politics, and skirmishes within the Nigerian political parties. Dr. Chukwuemeka, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm trying to be fine.
You look good, by the way.
Oh, well, I'm trying hard to.
Please don't try. You look good. Just accept it.
Okay, accept it.
Okay, so tell me, what in your view is the historical story of inter-party politics in the Nigerian political parties? Can you just trace it a little bit and tell us how these skirmishes has helped to shape the structure of the political parties in Nigeria?
It's okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's start this way. Let's lay this foundation. Politics by its very nature is all about contestations. And we must always have this at the back of our mind. It was Okudiban Nole who defined politics as every activity that is related with the struggle, the acquisition, the use and consolidation of state power. If you watch this definition, you will see it started with struggle. The point is that as far as politics is concerned, there will be struggle, there will be contestations, they never end. They are not bad things on their own. That is why it is said that you have thesis, you have antithesis, and you have synthesis. You have something new out of it. If there is no argument, you don't bring out good ideas. So if there is no contestation, we don't even get the best of what we should have when it comes to governance. That is why you even see the developed democracies up to today. At every point, there is contestation. At every point, there is a struggle on policies. People are discussing different. They say, no, this policy is going to help this nation move forward. This other policy is going to help the other nation. If you see what is happening in the United States of America as a case point now, you see right now, they had a debate, I think 2 days ago, right, if I'm right. Now, there was a contestation. There was argument. There was struggle. Now, this struggle develops at a point it now gets to a crisis situation where you now have factions, you now have people that disagree openly and they refuse to agree on nothing. Now, having said it's not a bad thing, I also lay the foundation by adding that one thing we always say is this: irrespective of the crisis, we should always have something at the back of our mind. That is national development and a better society. If a better society and national development becomes the focal point, irrespective of the skirmishes, irrespective of the struggles within a party or outside a party, you will now know that what we are working for is a better society. Now let's take it to the political parties. If you look at politics, you see that political parties has happened to be the vehicle that lead people to power. Now, that is why when you get to political parties, you see struggles internally. And externally, you see one party struggling with another party. This party has run down this nation, and this party wants to build the nation. And the party is given opportunity, and the other party says, this party has not just run down this nation, this party has closed this nation. Let's reopen the nation. Now, you ask yourself, why is it so? In between the lines of these arguments, we will look and always ask ourselves, is the nation moving forward? And that is the question every Nigerian is asking today. When they buy fuel at the amount they buy it today, the question they ask themselves, how are these skirmishes in parties? How are these struggles? These struggles, are they for us or for the interests of the people?
All right, Doctor, hold that thought.
Okay.
There's something I want us to backtrack a little. You could pick any political party of your choice. After all, every single one of them is going through some internal crisis, one internal crisis or the other. You can pick any of them and then give us like an overview of how a particular struggle, like you said, or skirmish has actually transcended into something positive for the party structure, for the people?
Okay, now I give you an instance. When
Yes.
you look at the People's Democratic Party
Okay.
from 1999, you will see before every convention, there will be one struggle or the other. Why do we have those struggles? People always have interests. Those interests could be their personal interests. It could be the interest of their group. It could be sometimes, sadly, which it should not be, sometimes regional interests. And that is one of the things we discourage strongly in Nigeria. But we still see them happen. If we sit here and say it doesn't happen, we're not telling ourselves the truth. So, but when you see some of those interests, some of those parochial, narrow interests, that is what we frown at. And we've seen them in the party. But we've also seen good interests. We've also seen people say, for instance, if somebody says, right now, this is the person that should be the leader for this reason. The person has done this, the person has done that. It's not a selfish interest. But what we always say is, we place them on both hands and we say, which one has the highest weight? Let me bring you home to what is happening recently.
Okay.
The political party having the very recent crisis, the Labour Party.
Okay.
The Labour Party is having crisis. And why are they having crisis? I see that party as a party that emerged. And now, what they are trying to do is to solidify. What they are trying to do is to... I'm not a member of the Labour Party, for instance, but what I'm telling you is that it's a metamorphosis.
Okay.
And you see people arguing, this person says this, the other person says that, and they are saying, no, the party has to stand, this person did not do this, financial accountability. What is happening? The party ab initio had no legs. With these struggles...
What do you mean the party had no legs?
I'll give you an instance. Because these were a group of people that came together. They just came and they had a vision and they wanted to do something, which is allowed in politics. And when they came together, something has happened. Okay, this aim was not achieved. And you now start to see different people look at it. Some people, remember what I said, selfishly we say, this thing didn't work. I think I need to look for another political party. Some people will say, we need to fix this party and hold it strong so that we can run for the next election. Do you see it? Two different sets of people in a political party. They are in every political party. But the question becomes, who and who is in your political party? There are some parties you look at, like the PDP, that already have a structure. They are strong. But there are still people that have those interests. And what is their interest? Personal interest. No, I am the one who is going to be this. I'm going to be national chairman. If I'm not national chairman, this party is not working fine.
It's quite interesting.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And I'm going to be the presidential candidate. If I'm not, this party is going to go down.
What are some of the things that can actually cause an internal or intra-party crisis to erupt? You've mentioned something pretty interesting, because you said something around ideologies, having different ideologies. You mentioned personal interests. But what are some of the things, given the fact that LP is much younger as a party compared to PDP, all right, and the rest? What are some of these things that can divide people into factions, right? Because I've already said, you've mentioned ideologies, personal interests. Are there other things that party members should look out for and say, this is a potential, potential issue that could erupt into a... So what are those divisions that could actually cause intra-party crisis, aside from different ideologies and personal interests?
Yes, one very critical one, which I've not mentioned before, is what we call external influence. External influence can come from the government of the day, and they want to whittle down the opposition. And what happens? Some people are bankrolled amongst the opposition, and what they do. How
does it work out in an organization, in this case a particular party, in an organization that has its rank and file, in place, and party structure in place, disciplinary actions, whatever, policies in place? How possible is it for an external person or external party to actually impact and influence, that existing party?
Okay, that's good. I'll tell you something. It was Claude Aki that talked about the primacy of material condition. And he talked about human beings and the way they behave. And human beings, that is why when we do political science analysis, we always say that politics is a science, is a behavioral science. It's the prediction of human behavior. Mm-hmm. There are some certain things, when you now look at Maslow too, who talked about the hierarchy of needs. Yes. Now, you see that a human being is not a machine. That is why influence is very easy. Somebody can call and say, hey, come, you're in the opposition. I am going to do this for you, whether right or wrong. And the person looks at what is on the table and compares it with what he thinks or she needs to protect. And the person takes a decision. And do you know what happens? The moment the person takes a decision, a crisis starts, because it's already a suspended disaster awaiting manifestation. The person has taken the decision. The person is now arguing. The moment they confirm, they say, no, we have to. The person will say, no, I disagree with this policy. I disagree. The person is not disagreeing because the person has made a proper analysis of the policy and looked at the pros and the cons. No, but the person is disagreeing because the person already has an interest that is fueled by an external influence. The external influence could be the government of the day. And let me also tell you, that is why we also we complain about neocolonialism. You see, nations act external influence, which is fueled by the people outside. And is influencing. And they say, okay, look at, this is your deal. This is what you are going to get. Let me not mention any nation, but the truth, we know what we're talking about. So these influences have an impact on the leaders. And let me also tell you, they also influence political parties too. Because when they know an opposition is going to crack down the government of the day, and the government of the day serves the interest outside, what would they do? They would say, no, let us ensure that we crack down the opposition. It happens. They can also say, let us push this opposition down. So you now see external influence from abroad on the same party, external influence from the government of the day on the same party, and now the interest of the party and diverse interests. And you can see multiplicity of interests. That is why in some parties, you're not just having one issue. You are having many issues. This one, okay, financial accountability, who is going to be the presidential candidate, who is going to be this one, at every point in time. But what we always advise Nigerian politicians is this. For the sake and interest of national development, it is very important, it is very critical that we have sets of values. We have things that we value. We have things that that hold us, irrespective
beyond any form of
beyond parties.
Yeah.
Irrespective of the political party, irrespective of your region, irrespective of who you are, there should be things that hold us together as Nigerians. There was something I wrote a book some 5 years ago. I called it What Now? 60 past 1960, the Nigerian dilemma. I talked about our value system. What are those things that we value as a human being? What are those things that we value as individuals, as a nation? What are they? What are the things we place premium importance on? We need to establish those things. Because I tell you, the political party is not different from the society. Because it is us, the members of this society, that are the members of the political party. And if we are the members of the political party, we determine the way things happen. So the value system we carried from our schools, from our homes, from our religious organizations, those value systems are going to reflect themselves in our political party. And that is what we determine what we struggle. When we are struggling for the right thing, that's fine.
So you've mentioned ideology, you've mentioned personal interests, you've mentioned external factors. Now, coming to the issue with LP currently, because that's what's on the front burner, do you think the issue with LP, with the Aburia Papa, EU tussle, you think it's strictly an external issue?
I will think that is a combination of issues.
Could you walk us through what actually could be the reason for their skirmishes?
Yes, I'll tell you. As a political not a political participator in the sense of the Labour Party.
Actively
Yes,
being,
yes,
yeah,
but
member.
I've analyzed, when you see some certain things, you can say, based on this sign, this is what is happening here. Now, number one on the list is 2027. That is it. 2027 is the main reason why you're having this crisis now. Now, having said that, if you look at what I told you initially, how the party came into existence, this party was existing. This party was existing by a few people who were maintaining and running the party. But at a point, something happened, an implosion, an explosion. The party exploded for good.
What could be the cause of that explosion?
Yes.
Because of
because they had
P2B?
because they had a candidate that
Yes.
had followership.
And that was a big paradigm shift
Yes,
for the LP.
It was.
Okay.
They had a candidate that enjoyed followership. So when the candidate moved into the party, his followership, just like every other presidential candidate, the three major presidential candidates, the president at the, right now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, and P2B, these were the people that controlled. These were the people that were on the front burner in the last election. They had followership. So when P2B in the Labour Party had followership, remember, the Labour Party is not like the PDP and the APC.
How so?
Yes, that had a structure in the sense that their presidential candidates had followership, but the party had a structure before then. Now the Labour Party had
Please,
people
could you dissect that? They don't have a structure that is like PDP or APC, but they had a structure prior to the issue with P2B coming into the scene.
Yes.
Break it down a little.
Let me break it down.
Make it understandable.
Let me break it down. The Labour Party had a structure in 2023.
Pre-P2B?
No.
Okay.
Their structure came into being in 2023. That was why these people came from different places. But before 2023, PDP had a structure dating so many years back. APC had a structure dating about 8 years back. And these structures were functional. Now, what is happening in the Labour Party is what we decide whether the party will survive or go down the drain. That is what is going to decide that. If the party survives, going forward, it will now have a structure. Because people have come together in the party.
You mean if it survives this current
crisis? Yes,
crisis?
yes. If it survives what is going through right now. Now, it is going to now have a structure and it won't be a new party again. But what is going to, the nature of the crisis is having now is dangerous to the party. Because the key officials of the party agree on nothing. They agree on nothing. You've seen the spokesperson of the campaign saying something else, saying the presidential candidate is not what he thought, and saying so many things. You see the presidential candidate trying to form another team. You also see the Apapa, the people that own a whole lot of skirmishes. They have so many issues at the same time. And the challenge of having so many issues at the same time is that it can crash the party. Because there will be nobody to hold. The spokesperson is one place, the presidential candidate, the party chairman has a new national working committee that they are Aburi arrangement, and they said nothing is going to happen. The governor of Abia State, Oti, is saying I'm dissolving them. They say you don't have the right to dissolve. Oh my God. One party, a new party, going through all this. It's dangerous. I don't know their fate. I'm not a political prophet, but from my analysis, they are going through a lot.
We'll get back to the LP,
Okay.
but you have mentioned that there could be external factors being part of what's happening in the LP. I need you to walk me through that.
You like external factors?
Walk us through that. And then since external factors can actually influence or start intra-party skirmishes or crisis, can external factors also help in resolving this conflict? When I say external factors helping, I mean like the judiciary, right? With what is happening within the LP, it seems as if nobody is calling the other to order. So do you think an external body like the judiciary can have, that impact to, come in and resolve, all of these issues? But meanwhile, I will need you to take me through what I explained the first instance before this question. So please take it away.
The external factors. Now, I tell you the truth. There is every possibility that there is an external factor influence in the Labour Party as we see. It can come from the government of the day when we look at some of the things that are happening. But we are going to find out. Do you know when we'll find out? We are going to see people are making decisions. People are making statements. People are saying things. But we don't know why they are saying them. In no distant time, we will find out why when we see the position they take, when we see the parties they will go to, when we see the things they will do. We can now say, oh, I think it was coming from here. I think it was coming from there. But as it stands now, if you try to say it is from here or from there, you'll be wrong. It doesn't matter what you say. Why? Because nobody is sure of why they are going through this. But we know they are going through a lot. Let me also come to the next leg. If you look at politics as it stands, you will discover that at every point in time, there will never be a point in politics where there will be no contestation. There will never be a point. That is the idea. And I want to say what I've said before, again, for emphasis' sake. The reason for these contestations, if we miss the reason, we are doomed as politicians, we are doomed as political parties, we are doomed as statesmen. The reason for these contestations is for a better society. If
ideally,
yes, that's what it should be. If your contestation is not for a better society, you know why I use the United States of America a lot? The kind of democracy if you watch their debates, they discuss policies. I am going to cut taxes here. I am going to make life easier. It is because we don't engage in such politics. That is why we're experiencing what we're experiencing now.
Could you break that down?
I'll explain. Policy analysis has to do with, I am, in a layman's explanation, I am going to keep this here, and if I keep it here, it will make you to drink water whenever you want to drink water. As simple as that. That is policy. This policy will ensure that whenever you want to drink water, you're going to find a cup. But because we don't do policy analysis, what we do in politics, largely in Nigeria, is people come and sing and go home. After singing, sing, you introduce your own song. The moment you're able to hold a tune and sing a verse, the moment you sing it, people will clap for you and you will go home. And there is no policy and nobody knows what you're going to do. So you wake up, you do anything, no policy, nothing, you do it, it moves from one government to the other. And from there, the truth is that everybody in Nigeria knows that the past 8 years was somehow. Now, do you know what the people are asking? This 1 year, 6 months, what does it look like in Nigeria? The normal Nigerian on the road does not understand the policy analysis. That is for the experts. Do you know what the person understands? I can't buy Gary now.
Absolutely.
Fuel is 1,300. Any other thing, one man said something. He said, I don't know what they are saying, no. I don't even know who is the president. But what I know is that as long as I'm buying fuel 1,300, I don't understand what is happening.
What can the judiciary do?
What
do they have any roles at all?
Yes, of course. The judiciary has a role. What is the role of the judiciary? The role of the judiciary is transparency. And the role of the people and those who seek for justice is to understand how the judiciary works. The judiciary does not work on emotions. Because I've seen a lot of people go to the judiciary emotionally. It does not work on how you feel inside. This person has dealt with me inside. And that is the way the political parties need to view the judiciary. The judiciary works with facts. So, for instance, if you want to get, after an election, you're going to court. Let me use an election. Or a party matter occurred, and you're fighting for a good Nigeria, for a better society, and you don't have your facts. If you get to the judiciary, you will lose. And when you lose, you say the judiciary is not doing it. No, the judiciary works with facts. They don't want to know how you feel. Because if the judiciary works with emotions, that is why they tie their
Why do you think some political parties go, approach the judiciary with sentiment? They have lawyers, they have teams, legal teams, isn't it the role of the legal teams to ensure that the facts are right and the evidence brought before the court is correct? I mean, I could be your client, and you're the sentimental one. I am the lawyer. I should be the factual one and the one that brings. So don't they have legal teams? Why would you think actually that they are sentimental and emotional about approaching the judiciary?
I'll tell you, most lawyers are not sentimental. Sometimes they know what the possible outcomes. They know it's neither here nor there. But the people who get the lawyers to represent them always they have an outcome they have in mind. Mm-hmm. The lawyer works towards that outcome. That outcome might be attainable or not based on the evidence given to the lawyer. The lawyer does not work with what you've not given him to work with. It is what you give the lawyer that is worked with. And these are the things. But the masses, as people watch, as we all observe, the way we look at these things is, oh no, this person is a wicked person. This person should not win this case. No. You don't know what was brought there. That is why, in order to fix this nation, for Nigeria to be fine, we need to leave sentiment and come to the table and do things right. If you are seeking something, have facts. You want to go to the judiciary. I've said initially, the judiciary has to be transparent. Somebody has to have that confidence that if I come to the judiciary, I am going to get justice. The moment, it doesn't matter who sits there. It doesn't matter whether he's a man or a woman, Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, it doesn't really matter. The moment I step into the judiciary and I have my facts, I am going to get justice.
Okay, good. So how, in this case, in this LP case, how exactly can the judiciary come in to help resolve this particular crisis? Although they've set up their National Working Committee, but how exactly can the judiciary be involved in resolving this conflict in the LP?
Now, I told you about the conflict of the LP. I don't know if it's a very good case for this because the conflict of the LP has levels, it has strands. There are so many conflicts. If you're talking of conflict one,
so many layers.
Yes. If you talk of conflict one, maybe the National Working Committee, which National Working Committee is supposed to be there. Now, fine. What do? You look at the constitution of the party. When you look at the constitution of the party, what should be done? You can go to court. When you go to court, the court looks at the constitution of the party. They interpret. When they interpret, they say, this is what should be. And it becomes, because they've said it, that is what it should be. But there are some other issues in the Labour Party that has nothing to do with constitutional issues.
They are not constitutional matters.
Somebody just said, I was following this person. I thought he had a plan. He doesn't have a plan. No, I can't follow him again. I am looking in a different direction. What court do you go for that? Do you get it? So these are the issues. But I tell you, I advise the members of that party, actually, I advise them that they should know that this is a make or mar moment for the party. Make or mar moment, and they must handle it very well.
Absolutely. All right, from our little discussion now, I've come to realize that inter-party politics can actually be a double-edged sword. It can go either way. It can help build the structure. It can destroy the party. Now, how would you project, Labour Party will go given all the layers of conflict they are having? Just from your analysis as an analyst, I know you have advised them, but how would you predict this could go given 2027 is just around the horizon?
Yeah. My prediction will be this simple. The Labour Party will not be as strong as it was in 2023. I didn't want to say it this way, but it's the truth.
Okay.
Given what is happening right now. Apapa, Aburi, Kenneth Okonkwo, Peter Obi, Alex Oti. How many names did I call now? I just called names. Why? Because interests. So now, these things were not like that. It was a rallying force that made them to make the impact they made in the last election.
Yeah.
But as it stands now, my projection will be that the party will not be as strong as it was in 2023. 2023, it won't be that strong. I don't know what is going to be left of it. I don't know what they will be able to do, but it won't be as strong as it was in 2023. I can be quoted on that. That's my personal analysis. I'm not doing it, no emotions attached. I'm just making an analysis for them. But you know what? Sometimes when you make analysis and you say this is the projection, it can be changed when you do certain things. That is why sometimes they make analysis, they say Nigeria is going to scatter, divide. At the end of the day, when you put one or two together,
there are other variables at play.
Yes, when you put one or two things together, if you're told you're going to crash, what do? You drive carefully. There's something waiting there. You become more careful. You become more organized. If they become more careful, more organized, shelve their swords, and look at the overall betterment of the party, they could come up with something better. But I largely
don't see that.
I don't see that
happening. All right, let's focus the spotlight on the PDP.
Okay.
With special interest with the Wike and the PDP governors, saga and skirmishes. You've analyzed that of the LP as probably having some sort of external influence on them. What would you say is the reason for the skirmish in Rivers State's PDP?
Okay. The skirmish in PDP has a foundation. This present skirmish, PDP has had a lot of issues back. But let's look at this present issue now. This issue started pre the presidential election.
Okay.
Yes. The issue being experienced now is an offshoot of pre-presidential election contestations. What do I mean? When you look at some of the things that happened, then who was going to be the presidential flag bearer of the party? That was even what led Peter Obi to leave, get to the LP. Is it going to be zoned to the southeast? No, open it to the south. And Wike said, no, it's not the southeast, it's going to be the south. Open it up to the south. Atiku said, no, if you're opening it to the south, open it to Nigeria. So those were the issues. That's what led to the G5. You had the G5. The G5 actually my own analysis was that the G5 was the one that sabotaged the PDP from clinching the presidential ticket, within the presidency.
That is your analysis.
That's my analysis.
Do you have any evidence to back this analysis?
I will not. You know why I say this is my analysis?
Yes.
Because sometimes when you say something is your own, nobody will hold you responsible for saying what. So that's my way of looking at it. Because if the G5 was in place, I think PDP had a higher chance of winning that election than the APC. Yes. But the G5, if you look at even what happened in Rivers State, is taking us to your Rivers State. In Rivers State.
Wike's Rivers State.
Okay, it's not Wike's Rivers. So that takes us to the Rivers State. And you see what happened in Rivers State. Rivers State was a deciding factor in that election. And Rivers State was totally controlled by Wike. Wike controlled Rivers State. And Wike controlled some other states to an extent. He controlled some governors. He controlled some. So
within the PDP.
Within the PDP, yeah. This had an impact on the last election. But the way these things happen is that when an issue starts, it keeps revolving. And as it revolves, it catches different things that were not part of the initial arrangement. That is how Fubara, who was somebody, was brought and supported by Wike, is now his major opponent, and they are fighting in the party. What is the problem? The question we always ask ourselves is, if the governor of the state is the leader of the party in the state, as the PDP recognizes, if the governor of the state is the leader of the party, is the governor supposed to be in charge of the party? I'm not from Rivers State. I'm from Enugu State, and our state is working very fine.
Good.
You can see. But if the governor of the party is the leader, the governor of the state is the leader of the party in the state, why would Fubara? It was, who was that now? Governor of Edo State. I think it's the present governor of Edo State that said, when he had a problem with Adam Soshomole, he said, I cannot be governor and not be governor. That was his statement. He said, I cannot be what? Governor and not be governor. So
you're saying that what's happening in Rivers State PDP is strictly internal? Yeah,
it's internal. It's internal.
Okay.
But it is a type of internal. Let me use that English for you. Because the minister of the FCT is in another party. And he was part of the reason PDP lost. Yes. He was part of the reason PDP lost the last election. And sometimes he even boasts and brags about it. He said, I told you people to come, let's discuss it. And you said, no, now you can see. You know, he's bragged about it. So I'm not just saying, we think these are things we've heard times without number. Now, he's now with the APC. He is the FCT minister. He is in the cabinet of an APC president. And he is a member of the PDP. Now, these are the challenges within, and people start to look at the constitutionality of some of these actions. Is he still supposed to be a member of the party? Okay, if he's supposed to be a member of the party, now, okay, the recent one, the National Working Committee handed over to him in the state. That is why I said, courts don't function on your sentiments.
And feelings.
From you. On your sentiments. What do they function on? Facts. You can be right and be wrong in court. So what I also advise is that
very quickly, because we are running out of time.
What I advise is that the governor of the state in Rivers and the FCT minister, they should always adopt what I said initially. Yes, interests abound, but what is going to make Rivers State better? Let it inform your decision and let it inform your position. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chukwuemeka Aroh. It was really, the pleasure is mine. I wish I had you here longer because I had so many other questions I need to ask, but unfortunately, our time is up. So there you have